Hi guys, so here I am. I know I'm so behind with an update. Life has just been really crazy and hectic with the holidays and two toddlers, so I know a lot of you can understand that. But I have gotten a lot of PMs, private messages asking me what happened, so I really just wanted to fill you all in. So as you know, I had two follicles and I was having my IUI on December 6th at 10:30 in the morning. It was a little bit different this time now that we have the girls because we need someone to stay home with them. So my hubby stayed home with them. So actually took the sample in myself. I kind of talked about it in my last vlog. Yep, I carried it right between my boobs and I drove there. I had to be there, I think it was like by 8:30 or so to drop it off so that they had time to process it and do all the washing and everything that they do. So then my IUI was at 10:30 and yeah, so they did the insemination and I came home and then I started, well actually I had to wait in the pharmacy for the progesterone and I started to ovulate like right there in the pharmacy and it was so painful. And then I got home and it was still going on and I was just in a lot of pain. So I know that I ovulated from both sides. And I was so tender and I was cramping so much. And yeah, it was super painful. I remember my ovulation with the girls, and that was so painful, but I also had 7 follicles. Hey, Calvin, shh. Sorry, my cat is being very loud. Um, then we had the dreaded 2-week wait, and they had the 2 weeks would officially been over on the 20th, but they had me test on the 22nd, and then if it was a negative, then I just stop progesterone and wait for my period to appear, and then I call them. Or if my period comes before then, to give them a call and to stop progesterone. So anyway, I am not one that tests early. I tend to wait those full 2 weeks and then I'll test. But this time I was having a lot of symptoms that I usually have in pregnancy. I was very gaggy and that's usually my first telltale sign that I'm pregnant. With my first pregnancy I didn't know that that was my sign, but now looking back I remember. And then with the girls, we just knew instantly that I was pregnant because I started gagging and smells were bothering me and all of that. So that was happening, and I was like, this is really strange. So maybe it worked. Maybe I'm actually pregnant. So I started testing early, which is so bad because it really starts messing with your mind. I started testing at 10 days post ovulation, and it was a negative. And I was like, oh, so sucky just seeing that one line, even though I know it was so early. So then I proceeded to test on day 10, 11, 12, 13, and I knew by that point that it was going to be a failed cycle, and I was really sad, and I think the thing is that for some reason I had this thought that just maybe this time it would be easy, that, you know, it would just take, and I would get pregnant the first shot, so that wasn't how it was going to be. I knew when I tested the evening of the 13 days post ovulation, and it was negative, and I already knew that it was going to be. And so I tested on the 20th, which was 14 days, and it was negative. And so I decided instead of taking progesterone twice a day, I was supposed to take it morning and night. I didn't take it that morning because I was just so upset. And then I started to spot. So I was like, well, it's over. I will if my period isn't here full-fledged by the 22nd, which is the last day that my doctor wanted me to test, that I would just stop. Like, I would test one more time, but I would still take progesterone just like in the evenings. But by day 21 and everything, like, my period was here. So I called the doctor's office, and so cycle day 1 is actually officially on the 23rd. Merry Christmas, right? And it was very heavy and so painful. So yeah, I didn't get my Christmas miracle, but so I was very depressed. Also, on the day of the IUI, the nurse practitioner who does it, she had come in. She actually is the one that did my insemination with the girls. So she, you know, we kind of go way back, and she had asked me if something happened with my husband's sample because she says, you know, was some of it lost? Was this not a full sample? Because it just wasn't that good. So that made me a little bit nervous because nothing happened. So, but of course, you know, you only need one, and then they also have you have sex for 2 days after, you know, that night, and then 2 days later. So hopefully you cover all bases. But so that was kind of something that, you know, if we didn't get pregnant, that we would have to look into as well. So I had to call in as cycle day 1, and I went in yesterday for my first appointment, and I was on cycle day 5. When you have PCOS, generally they like you to come in for your baseline ultrasound and blood work around day 3, but since I have PCOS, they can actually go all the way to day 6 because, I just don't ovulate on my own, so it's not as important for me to be there on the 3rd, and with the holidays and everything, it would have been too hard. They didn't have any openings anyway. So I went in yesterday and I saw one of the doctors in the practice, and so we talked about, well, I guess I need to back up a little bit, is that I had called the nurse and I had asked her about what should we do about my husband, do I need to do a follow-up, and so they had him go in for another semen analysis in the morning of my appointment, so that by the time I had my appointment in the afternoon, they'd already have the results, and then we would discuss it, because they don't want me to start meds and everything if I can't, if we need to do something for him, if something's going on. So the whole day, I'm really nervous and I'm uptight because I'm just so afraid that, like, it's one more thing. Like, not only do I have my infertility, now are we going to have to start dealing with male factor infertility, and why is this happening? And it's so strange because it's always been fine. Now, all of a sudden, is it not good? And so, yeah, just super stressful. And I was thinking, is this the time for me just to walk away from all these treatments, just be content with my girls and know that I was just blessed to have them and that they're it and there's no more children? Or, what's going to happen? And, of course, I'm an overthinker and I get myself so worked up and stressed out. So I go for my appointment and the doctor comes in and she says, it's fine. His sample is fine. So that day of the IUI, it must just have been a bad sample, so to speak. They call them bad days. So I guess my husband had a bad day. So yeah, we're starting all over again. I'm kind of a slow to start responder, so instead of going back after 3 or 4 days when I start the meds, they're actually not having me go back for a full week. So I had my appointment yesterday on Thursday, so I'm not going to go back again until the following Thursday, which saves a lot for me because it's a 40-minute drive one way, and I have to figure out who's going to watch my girls. I have to figure out, like, work it around my husband's schedule, and it's just really stressful, and it's a long drive. So it actually is better waiting the full week, especially if I'm not going to be, like, responding that much. So I'm doing 2 vials like I did last time for this full week. But I usually do IM injections, which are in your muscle, and they're like really long needles. I've talked about this before. But for some reason, they always mess up and they always give me the sub-Q needles. So while I was there, I said, is there a reason why I've always done IM? Can I possibly do the sub-Q? Because, those needles are tiny and they just go in your belly fat and there's like no pain. And she says, because this was not my doctor, this is another RE in the practice, but she said that generally they do sub-Q, that they just found that someone with PCOS actually respond better to the IM injections. But she personally prefers the sub-Q, so she was like, well, okay, let's figure this out. So we decide, she says with sub-Q, it could just take longer, it could be a longer cycle, which is completely fine to me because we're very blessed, and my husband really, with his job, we have really good insurance. So it's not like we're paying a whole bunch out of pocket, which is the only reason why we're able to even do this cycle, try again. So because of that, and we're going to go ahead and just do the sub-Q injections. And so I had my first injection last night. It's so easy. Oh my gosh, like it's so different compared to the IM. And so hopefully this cycle is going to be nicer to me just because it's like I don't have to worry about doing the big injection, worried about hitting a blood vessel or any of that, and it's a lot more painful. And the sub-Q, you don't even feel it. So that is awesome. So if it takes more days for me to get some good follies in there, I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's what's going on. I apologize for not answering all your private messages. I was just kind of waiting to do an update, and plus, you know what, I was kind of depressed, and I wasn't really ready to talk about it because I didn't want to be crying and trying to do my update and all of that. So, yeah. So here we go again, and remember, I have Kaiser, and they only do 3 tries because they feel like if you don't get pregnant after the 3rd try, then it's probably not going to work for you. And if that's the case, then we're officially done trying to conceive because we won't do IVF, our insurance. We have no coverage for IVF. And plus, then that would just be our sign that our girls, that's going to be our only babies. But I think a lot of the part that really depressed me was that I really want to give my girls a baby sibling. They're so cute with babies, and I would love, love, love to see them as big sisters. And I think that's probably the part that hurt me the most not getting pregnant, is because I feel like in a way that I'm letting them down, and so I just kind of feel broken that way. And I'm just going to have to get to the point that it's like, it's okay. You know, when I first started these treatments, I was like, I'll be totally fine if it doesn't work. But you can say that before you start the treatments. But once you start the treatments and you're in it, like you're in the midst of all of, like, all the crap, like all the hormones and all the shots and all the monitoring, and you're in it, you're just so in it that all you can see is that goal. It's really hard not to invest everything in it. It's like you just throw your whole heart and mind into it, and it's really hard not to, even though I've tried not to. You know, you just keep, you start thinking baby names, you start thinking about, what's this baby going to look like? Is this baby going to look like Ava? Is this baby going to look like Leah? Is there going to be more than one baby? You know, I was nervous about that too. So anyway, that's just kind of where I've been at. I really appreciate all of your support. I find that new people are finding me every day, which is kind of fun to think that you know, that I'm helping other people. That was a whole goal of a lot of my vlogging, is just to, you know, share what I've been through. And I'm very honest, and, you know, it's not easy. It's a whole lot of crap, to be honest with you, when it comes to infertility. It's just not fair. So that's it. I will just try to keep you all updated on what's going on with my next cycle. So here we are, IUI number 6. Here we come. So thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.